Greetings and welcome to a Monday edition of the Shotgun Start. It is March 3rd. Andy, how we doing?
Brendan, we are doing fantastic. I gotta say, what a delightful Sunday afternoon. I got to watch my Illini kick the crap out of Michigan, and yeah, and then I love Joe Highsmith winning. That was an ideal Sunday outcome.
Wait, Joe Highsmith didn't win. Joe LaCava Jr. won. That's what I'm supposed to. That's that's what I've led to believe. Great big win for Joe LaCava Jr. or the fourth. I can't figure out. Holy cow. A lot of Joey LaCava Jr. It was like kind of the supporting role for Joe Highsmith. But yes, he did get the win at the Cognizant Classic or the Honda, as it will always be known here. The Honda Classic. I mean, I guess first things first, why are you happy about Joe? Are you more happy for Joe Highsmith or just happy that he beat a certain individual that may have been sitting on the lead, a 54-hole lead?
So for anybody that hasn't listened recently I just kind of remarked about Jake Knapp and how he hadn't done much against top shelf competition and how people want to call him a superstar. And anyways, today there was a time where it's like, I have nothing against Jake Knapp. I do not like, why am I sitting on the couch just vehemently rooting against Jake Knapp right now? Like, why do I put myself in these situations where I have to root against someone when I don't have any ill will towards Jake Knapp, but you get yourself on an island, and that's where I found myself this weekend, vehemently rooting against Jake Knapp because of a take. He seems like a great guy. I don't know if you saw this, Brendan, but do you know he lifts? Do you know he lifts weights? Did you see? Did you see the montage they threw into the middle of the telecast?
He's a buff boy. He was a bouncer. I did see that. They had him pumping iron. They were quoting his numbers like he's at the combine. Well, he puts up this how many times.
I can't put up 265, but it felt like like for a professional athlete boasting that he can put up 265 two times seems to be a bit. Not that much. 265 is not that much. Two times.
Oh, come on. We're not gonna weightlift shaming.
I'm not weightlifting shaming anybody.
You've already anti-now, or you've already jammed this guy enough in the last 10 days.
Disclaimer: I can't put up 265 once.
They had him doing chin-ups. They're in the middle of their pull-ups in the middle of the golf broadcast. I do love that we went from this sort of jacked bouncer type to scrawny bucket boy, Joe Highsmith, who's like, 130th on the tour in driving distance. It was quite a Revenge of the Nerds moment. I don't even know if Highsmith's a nerd, but he just was, I'm told he's like a really normal. He was the most normal of the dudes at Pepperdine coming out of there. But yeah, we've criticized him for being slow, haven't we, Joe Highsmith?
Well, I was trying to remember. I think it was also an era when he had the Pepperdine coach, who would get down in bunkers,
walk him through the live for 10 minutes before they would hit. Yeah. No.
Well, the good news is he was successful at Pepperdine with a hands-on coach there, and now he's got Joe LaCava the seventh, Joe LaCava the 17th.
Enough about Joe LaCava. No, it's good. I'm happy for him. Happy for the younger LaCava to get his W.
Potgeeter might want to try and snag LaCava the third away.
That's true.
Is LaCava the 3 available, or is that Cantlay's LaCava?
I think that's Cantlay's. But I mean, you never know.
LaCava 2. Could we get LaCava 2?
Yeah, maybe LaCava 2 might be around. Who knows? An okay weekend. I would say Thursday was way more entertaining with the neutering of. I got some on the ground intel, and I just like to be clear. This is completely unsubstantiated completely unsubstantiated. This comes from listener Billy. Billy T is I'll leave him
not Billy H.
No, not Billy Dratty, not Billy H, but Billy T, a local guy. Cognizant Classic review. I've been going since 2005, and this was the worst edition, even below the Mirasol days. That's tough. The feedback about the food is correct. A burnt hockey puck like cheeseburger plus chips in the water was $25. Domestic beer is $14. Also, every 5 seconds, you're being run down by some guy in a golf cart. The course is completely neutered, and Abacoa would be a more difficult test. I've played both dozens of times. Championship management has officially ruined this event. I don't know if this is authoritative, but Billy T has gone since 2005. I felt obliged to relay that information. I can't vouch for 100% of its accuracy. I can only relay it to the audience. But someone who's been going. $25 for a hockey puck cheeseburger. He doesn't seem happy about that. Said the course was neutered and Abacoa would be harder.
Did you see Jack's interview on Saturday?
I saw it happening. I wasn't listening really. Why?
There's just a lot of chatter about the course.
Uh-oh.
You could tell that he just wasn't very happy. It was subtle.
Sure.
It was subtle.
Sure.
With regards to the ryegrass transition, which was like a clear, like they were talking about it all week on the telecast. They're like, the rough's not that thick. It's easy to get through. Around the greens. This would be a really hard shot if it was Bermuda. This was the first year with ryegrass. And Jack was kind of like, Jack said something along the lines of like, well, they told me that they needed ryegrass. I guess they needed ryegrass. One thing when we did the scoring breakdown, I'd like to point this out. I don't want to be a disingenuous data boy here.
Oh yeah, sure. We'd never cherry pick
a lot of disingenuous data boys in the world.
Yeah, for sure.
But a lot of them. One point. Championship management did change 10 from a par 4 to a par 5.
Okay.
They did the reverse Summerlin, remember last year?
Yes, the anti-Summerlin. That's right. Anti-Summerlin model. Speaking of scoring, though, all morning they're talking, they turned the water off here. It's drying out. It's dry, as if like they've been soaking it too, basically all through till like Friday night or something. It's dry. The wind's swirling from the north, coming in, and it's dried out. These greens are firm. And I guess they turned it up a little bit since Thursday. But, I mean, Highsmith went 64-64 on the weekend. He made the cut on the number. Oh, congrats to Ben Polland. Did you see his cut sweat? Made like a 50-footer to make the cut in one of his 6 PGA Club Pro exemption starts. It's one of 6. He's made one already. Ben Polland, it seems like awesome guy. He was at the Dratty event we were at last Tuesday, but he made it on the number as well. Highsmith then goes 64-64. So I wouldn't say, the bear trap was just snapping down on players' legs left and right as they got into their 15, 16, 17. And I started to do a running count for this podcast of how many times I'd hear the phrase bear trap on the broadcast start when they came on the air at 3. I wasn't even doing the early coverage. I just lost track at like the 10-minute mark. We were up to like 15 at the 10-minute mark. So the course, 64-64. Congrats to Highsmith. He went and did it. He's, a substandard putter is what I would call him. Doesn't hit the ball a mile. But was nails putting and all the way to the end, making that 20-footer or so on 17 that kind of made it academic coming in.
I mean, it's pretty incredible to shoot the low round both days of a weekend in a PGA Tour event, any PGA Tour event. I'd be impressed if you did it at Cocoa Beach next week. But it's amazing to shoot the low round of a tournament 2 days in a row. Highsmith was he was a stud at Pepperdine. They were really good. They won the national championship. He was the best player on their team. He's really good. And I think like the other thing about this win is like, it's kind of a, it's a reason to watch the fall, because if you watch golf in the fall, you would have walked away if you were just devoted watching every week. You were walked away. Joe Highsmith, one of the best players of this crop of players that is playing in the fall. He was awesome in the fall. I think he had like 5 top 15 finishes last fall. So this was a guy that like was knocking on the door numerous times last year before getting the win. Like, I always think that's like one of the best ways to figure out who's going to break out is simply by looking at players that contended but didn't win, had a lot of disappointing Sundays, but disappointing Sundays usually lead to good Sundays, and this was obviously a great Sunday. Did you hear that his mom hit balls the day he was born? Did you hear that in between the LaCava?
I mean,
do you believe that?
No, I don't, but I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna live or die by calling it out. I'm just, if that's what the world wants to go on saying, and it might have happened, I'm sure. I'm not gonna call his mom a liar about it or anything, but I don't believe it. I'm skeptical. Seems ridiculous. Maybe it was it's more of a compliment of what women go through to give birth. I just I don't. It doesn't pass the smell test to me, but we heard it a lot on Sunday. Highsmith wins by 2. This was over. I mean, you had Jacob Bridgman in there. He was out ahead early. It was mostly Knapp kind of. Who are you most disappointed in? Last week we went with Aaron Rye, Steven Yeager. We've gone Ben Campbell or Brian Campbell. Who's Brian Campbell? And Ben Campbell's the guy on Live, right? The reserve guy who stepped up into the Range Goats. Brian Campbell, Joe Highsmith, and back-to-back. Who are you most disappointed with on Sunday? You had guys.
I mean,
Michael
I was most disappointed by my one and done pick, Russ Henley, highest ranked player in the field, right there. You got to win on these weekends.
Yeah, that was tough. He shot 70, was it? Yeah, shot 70.
He was just middle of the back 9 was brutal, or beginning of the back 9. I guess
it wasn't
middle of the round.
Wasn't a real exciting. I like the Honda. This just wasn't. Highsmith had kind of made it academic with 45 minutes to go or something, and part of that was Knapp, Michael Ghim, Henley, sort of abdicating. Jordan Spieth made a run there for a while. We were talking about Jordan Spieth. He's like
classic Jordan Spieth run. It was just like such a perfect Jordan Spieth run. I might be reallocating some shares back to Justin Guyland. Do you see he's 59th in strokes gained approach against a 51st strokes gained approach. Very, very soft field. Very soft field. Like
just a guy number 51st.
I was going to ask the question, are we ready? I don't have my stats pulled up. I'm not a stats boy.
Yeah.
But I kept seeing Doug Ghim miss short putt after short putt. This is someone that, I crossed paths with on the Illinois amateur circuit. I think it's time. I'm calling it. It's time for the broom for Dougie. It's time. He lost.
Bad, huh?
He was like 60. He was like first in approach, I think 13th off the tee and like 68th in putting. It's just time to go to it. I had him when I did one of the breakout players. He's one that like the stats just don't match up to performance. He's been striping the ball for like 2 years. I mean, he's one of the best. I think he was top 20 in off the tee and approach last year, and he does not hit the ball far.
No.
So he's top 20 off the tee and approach. He's got to go to the broom. It's time. Give up.
Broom first, him or JT? Who needs to go to the broom?
JT first.
Pretty good. Spieth maybe played this week because he didn't get a sponsors exemption into next week. Did you see that drama going down on Friday? We recorded before all that went off. It was sort of weird. Like, we're making an announcement.
Hold on.
As if like I don't make an announcement every time the lotto numbers are drawn and I don't win. Like, why are we making an announcement that they got denied? Like, were they applying? I don't know. It's you either you get the thing in the mail or you don't, and that's all it is. But that was a big drama going on Friday to the point where Sam Saunders the grandson of Arnold Palmer went on the record with I think it was
growing the game.
He
used growing the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like pick players are protecting and growing the game of golf as a whole and doing what's the most balanced and fair for their process. You can't make everybody happy with exemptions, so you do it. You just try and do it as fair and balanced as possible. He also said, like, at the end of the day, there are different levels of effort from each player. He said Rafa Campos. I don't know that anybody's written a more thoughtful letter and put more effort into requesting an exemption than Rafa Campos did. And he talked about, but at the end of the day, it's about how fast you get the ball in the hole too. And Campos, I would say, is not been particularly good at that this year. Maybe not as good as Spieth, Ricky Fowler. So those two are given the highs.
Campos won Butterfield though.
I know that was fall. That was 6 months ago, 5 months ago.
More wins than Spieth's had in the last 3 years.
But I mean, Ricky's always come and done the Arnold activation. He wants to be like Arnie in a way that he's an ambassador to the game. Spieth, of course, I get.
Do you think this is Sam Saunders clapping back as someone who got quite a few sponsors exemptions? Someone that's the
grandson of a legend.
Do you think this is his revenge?
It's him sort of like, not like, going after his own or what?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Trying to, he had trouble when he rested his head down on the pillow at night, going to sleep. And this is him trying to, go to sleep better.
I think there's a little bit of political background in gamesmanship because I don't think Spieth played Bay Hill until it became a Siggy event. And even then, like, there was a little bit of background, maybe not battling, but he didn't go. I don't think Bay Hill was on his schedule until it became a signature event. And so I don't know. It's not to say, you can pick your own schedule and play what you want to play. But I know Arnold, when he was alive, would put a little bit of pressure on those guys to show up if they wanted to be, to patronize his tournament. But Spieth is off for a week after his, I don't know, cup of coffee on the first page of the leaderboard today. He finished top 10, but there was a moment there. He's like such,
and then we got like every move of Jordan Spieth. I don't want to nitpick here, but I'm going to.
Yeah, feels like you do.
When can we put to bed the clubhouse lead?
Oh, you mean like for a guy that's
Jacob Bridgman, 2 hours ahead. Well, Dan, he's got the clubhouse lead.
The bridge man. Made
the Clemson Tiger fans proud this week.
Yeah. Other odds and ends. Taylor Montgomery, feel bad for him on a major medical. I think he just needed a top. He's not been good, as you, I think, outlined in one recent. I don't know why he came up, but it wasn't a cut. He's had a rough go of it lately, but he would have been in the players if he finished like T10 or better or something like that. T5 or better. I forget what it was. And he tumbled on Sunday. He's not had a good year, but that would be crazy. He almost had like an exemption for the rest of the year and a spot in the players after having a rough year.
I texted a friend of mine, is that the worst swing on the PGA Tour? Oh, and his reply was, I think it's better than it looks, but I will say he's hit the 2 worst golf shots I've ever seen as a professional. He said he topped it twice in the same round with a 3-wood off the tee.
With a tee? Oh, God.
And he shot 5 under in the round.
Oh, my God.
2 tops. But honestly, I can't watch. I'm the person. I don't watch people swing golf clubs when I play golf with them.
Yeah.
I just don't watch people hit golf shots. I listen, but I don't watch it.
Yeah.
I have to look away when they say Taylor Montgomery is about to hit. Like when they're like, all right, let's cut to Taylor Montgomery. I look down. I can't watch it. I cannot watch the action. It's so steep. It's so gross.
Didn't get enough FedEx Cup points. Luke Clanton made the cut, Made the cut, gets in, so
This
he
was
gets
big
his
news.
requisite PGA Tour U points. Also, had a cup of coffee on the first page of the leaderboard today too. Shot 69, 12 under. Another top 20 finish for Luke Clanton, but gets his card when he wants it via accelerated.
Good news. You know, top 100 player in the world gets card. You know.
And there you got Taylor Montgomery. Just needs like a top 10. He's in everything just off his major medical. Kind of an interesting system they have.
Seems like Clanton's gonna play college golf.
It feels like it, right? We didn't get anything. You know, he's got the Nike contract. He's got I don't know, the big announcement. You know, he's probably doing well. I mean, isn't this what NIL is? I saw, an article.
What happened to Union Mortgage? They just get kicked out. What happened?
Nike came over the top on the mortgage.
Do you think they had a buyout clause in that Union Mortgage?
Could have been.
Wasn't Union Mortgage flying him private around?
He got flown private from Wyndham Sedgefield up to Minnesota Hazeltine for the AM, like Sunday to Monday, while Matt Kuchar was sleeping on the whatever, just trying to finish 13th. They did get everybody in on time. This is still the last big field before they trim it down, but everybody. They called play for darkness on both Thursday and Friday, and people just finished up. They kept playing all the way in, if you could believe it or not. Friday, did you see, speaking of Montgomery and hideous swings, did you see Chuck Hoffman's shank? Charlie Hoffman's shank. That's about the worst one. I love that it stayed dry.
It was a tough shank.
Landed up against the screened-in porch, that you're so fond of over there in the PGA National.
Next week's my favorite PGA Tour live watching week because of all the screened-in porches at Bay Hill. They used to. I mean, I guess it's ruined. It actually the tour has ruined it because it used to be. When it was a full field, it would be a 7 a.m. start, East Coast time.
Yeah,
and everybody be out drinking coffee on their screened-in porch. You just see guys sitting on outside their porch with their coffee watching golf.
Anything else on the Honda that you wanted to talk about? Clanton, big time. That was a big story.
Let me
Highsmith's bucket
notes here.
Highsmith's bucket is preposterously large. He's got like a spaceship on top of his head. The brim is just look at the size of that lad. The unit, absolute unit.
Protecting himself against the sun. Fair.
Not calling him out. You got any other notes you want to?
Yeah. They showed the clip of Tiger at his at Sam's state title game.
Yeah, saw that.
Did you see his hat? What he was wearing?
Well, Jupe Links, right?
Jupe Links,
yeah. I did see that.
Rocking Jupe Links.
I love that he wore it said soccer state championship T-shirt to the championship. Hey, I found that amazing. I found that incredibly endearing. I mean, it's catnip, I know, but I'm not sure people should be taking pictures of him necessarily at his kid's soccer event, but it's a public event. I found that cool that he's with all the other parents and all that. So, but yeah, that was an interlude in the broadcast.
By the way, I'm happy. I just got the Nosferatu OWGR update here.
What do you got?
Number 92 in the world, Luke Clanton secures PGA Tour card. I believe I think it's Sean Martin was said if without a divisor, he would be in the top 10. I think. Yeah. I will just say top 20 to be safe. So top 20 player in the world gets card. Thank you, PGA Tour. Thank you.
Come on.
We got it. We got our guy. I'm glad he made this cut. I'm glad he made the cut to get that card. Top 20 player in the world gets PGA Tour card. He earned it.
Well, there's a divisor for a reason. He's 92nd, right?
You know how we got Taylor Montgomery.
He's taking enough drive-bys. He was
beaver pelts out of every fairway with his PGA Tour card.
Got it. What else you got? Anything else from the Honda Classic?
I can't reiterate. Listen, Joe Highsmith shooting the low score both days of the weekend to win his first time. That's pretty crazy. I think I think that that is like a legit bona fide win. And to come from making the cut on the number to win by 2 is like super impressive. What a weekend. Congrats, Joe Highsmith.
Joe House, a fellow podcast.
I was going to say Joe Highsmith.
Joe Highsmith. My neighbor here in the Maryland, D.C. area. What other thing? What broadcast? Good, bad, neutral? I thought it was fine. I kind of like their collection of people. I don't mind. I like, Byram and Fax and Smiley and Kiz and Bones. I think it's a good group of people talking about the shots that need to be hit and made. So
it kind of works with Kisner going out and playing and then missing the cut. Like it does work because he can talk about playing, like where he was, like what he was. I was watching on Saturday night, and he's just like, "Yeah, like I was putting from right there, and this putt breaks way more than you think,
Yeah,
and it's like if he could play every event and just miss the cut, I think that's like actually like the ideal setup for an analyst.
Just give a card to a guy who can't make a cut for just broadcast purposes.
The analyst spot plays Thursday and Friday.
So that would go over well.
And then comes in on the weekend. But if they're contending, they don't get a play.
That would go over well with the Mules.
They have to play Thursday, Friday.
Love it. I think that does it. That's all I got.
You have any other thoughts?
No, we ripped through enough. Congrats to Joe Highsmith. Played well.
Shout out, our gambling picks are making people money.
Are they?
Yeah, we have people betting trio bets with our 3 picks.
Oh yeah. I don't know.
I'll make the cut.
My Horschel top 20. There was one at top 20. I think Horschel didn't get there. He's 25, but it
wasn't hard enough for Billy.
Can't win everything. It wasn't. It's too easy. Guy needs a challenge. Can't be having this just overseed. It's a joke. He was pissed. All right. I think that we might give some Oscars gambling picks. We got another hour and a half maybe to get those in. We're hot with the picks. Let's do an ad read for our friends from Maui Nui Venison. It offers the only 100% wild harvested meat. It's completely stress-free, responsibly sourced. It's perfect for anyone looking to elevate their meals with delicious, high-quality protein. And Maui Nui Venison is offering Shotgun Start listeners a limited collection of our favorite cuts and products. You get into these? You get into the sticks this weekend?
Love the sticks.
They are. It's good. It's literally the cleanest, best red meat in the world on the earth. Yeah.
I honestly love them. I got a message from someone who just tried out the ground breakfast sausage. Said he made some bomb breakfast tacos with it.
Good. Yeah, you can kind of mix it up, mix some ingredients. So the URL is Maui, as in the island, MAUI, Nui, NUI, MauiNuiVenison.com/SGS, MauiNuiVenison.com/SGS. These are guys who, they have a mobile processing plant. They go out in the middle of the night onto the mountain, Maui, where there's just this axis deer population. And it's like that's off the mountain, processed in a mobile truck. I was watching the video, and off to you. And the supplies are, is limited by the nature of the work. So don't wait. Go to MauiNuiVenison.com/SGS. This is really good, clean protein for us. I've been ripping through the sticks. Good stuff. MauiNuiVenison.com/SGS. I kind of when All Business Pete came to us and said, we got a venison company. I was like, what? Come on. How's that going to work? I was very dubious. No, I'm not as dubious as Highsmith's mom about Highsmith's mom playing golf on the day of her birth. She gave birth. But I was like, how's this going to work? I'm no bullshit. I'm all in on this, on Maui Nui Venison. Like good protein, good clean protein. Read a little bit. I was sold. All right, let's get to other results in the InvestTech.
Hold on. I wanted to do Oscars. I had a couple best bets for Oscars.
Timothy Chalamet?
No. That's too much. I just pick winners. Oscars winners here.
Okay.
I like Kieran Culkin for best supporting actor. Yes.
Okay.
And Zoe Saldana for Best Supporting Actress. Those are my two surefire locks.
All right. Lock it in.
Hammer them. Locks.
Love it.
Also, hey, another Michael Ghim, hottest non-winner on the planet.
God, he's hot.
The Chipmunk has him just dialed in.
Chipmunk, did they say the Chipmunk was with Russ Henley too on the broadcast? I think they said that.
I don't think so.
It doesn't sound right, but I swear they said Joe Mayo was working with them. But I was surprised by that. Henley doesn't seem like a Mayo man.
I don't think Mayo Man would have been happy with some of Russ's action around the greens on Sunday. It was kind of
too shallow.
It just was a little jabby on a couple of them.
That does it for the Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches. Let's go to the Investec South African Open, where Dylan Nadeau is your winner. He beats Laurie Canter in a playoff 54-hole shortened event with the rains down in South Africa, blessing the Investec South African Open. So Dylan Nadeau is your winner, beats Canter in the playoff. He gets into the Open Championship, British Open at Royal Portrush coming in a few months. Dylan Nadeau, Marco Penge, and Darren Fitchert are your 3 Open qualifiers. So when you're bitching about the field in 4 or 5 months and why Cam Davis can't be there, Marco Penge is in there, Penji is in there, the Englishman, you can think back to February's Investec South Africa 54 South African Open. So
how about Cancer getting into the Players?
Kind of great.
Are we sure he's not going to
world cut off?
How are they going to figure out how to suspend him?
I mean, he hasn't played in a live event in a year. He played Vegas Super Bowl weekend last year was when he was so he was a Cleek. He was an OG Cleek in 2022.
I don't think he was an OG. Was he an OG?
That's what I read.
He was on opening day rosters.
I guess. That's what I read. Laurie Canter was a Cleek
before Blandy.
22. Maybe. I'm not sure. And then he was a reserve player.
Keimer's always been a Cleek.
So the suspension's a year, but if he hasn't played in a year on live, is he eligible? He's the first live veteran to qualify for the Players. And I think he's got to play. Don't do some ticky-tack bullshit and bounce him out. If he's a top 50 player in the world, take him.
I could see Jay doing something.
Yeah.
You know, I could see him getting in a conference room. You know, they'd get in the conference room and they just
we sure are spitballing, aren't we, Rich?
Thinking about ways to get rid of Laurie Canter.
I was told Mr. Spitball is another television appearance tomorrow on
I saw that Five Clubs.
We sure are spitballing, aren't we, Rich?
Let's dial it in, BJ, on that one. But get the DVR set. Let's see what the script says for tomorrow morning. What he's reading off. So Canter got to play the Players. Congrats to Nadeau. I think he's local. I think he was from Durban, South Africa. He said yesterday, it felt like I was Tiger Woods because of the crowds following him. There were so many people. Really, he was very emotional, which is a cool story. Like you want the local kid. I had a European Tour caddy email or texted me on Friday saying the leaderboard's awesome. All these guys are studs, and Dylan Nadeau was among them. Great player, younger upper-comer. So yeah, big crowds following Dylan Nadeau despite the weather, and he wins, and he's in the Open Championship along with Penge and Darren Fitchert. On the LPGA, the HSBC Championship at Sentosa, Lydia Ko, dominant win. Didn't really get close on the back nine. Rolled the rock, and she cruised by 4 over Gino Titicul. And who else was it? I know she was second. Ayaka Fudue. So, yeah, she wins by 4. Her 23rd, I believe.
What a career.
Yeah. Off to another great year. Great start to the year, I should say. She called it Asia's major and said, so Singapore has been important to her, and getting a win there was a big deal. So that was overnight golf and never really got close on the back nine. That's a primo win for the LPGA to get that. And then on the New Zealand Open and coming to Royal Portrush, is Biker Gang
How about
veteran, alum, Biker Gang alum, Ryan Peake, who spent 5 years in prison for assault and was part of an Australian biker gang. And Garrett Morrison, during his visit to Australia in December, he won the Sandbelt Invitational, wrote about Ryan Peake. And here we are, I don't know, 2 months later, and he's winning the New Zealand Open down under. Not down under. Is that what they call New Zealand, down under too?
No,
I think Australia.
I think New Zealand's just New Zealand.
Okay. So he wins the New Zealand Open, gets in the Open Championship. An incredible story, mixing your interest in biker games and great golf.
Insane story.
Yeah.
Right.
Super cool.
Like, think about how much talent too there is to have a 5-year hiatus. Also, like, couldn't imagine him playing a ton of golf when he was in the biker gang. And now, like, he wins. Now he wins a national open and is playing in the Open Championship. That's, you know what? That's a guy that's got some off the bus intimidation factor. I think he's our all off the bus team.
Yeah. Like Laurie and Sepp warming up together, side by side on Thursday, and it's not Cognizant. That's an off the bus intimidation. Throw Peake in there, add him. Biker gang. He doesn't seem like he wants to talk about it. Says, look, I was an idiot, and I've just so blessed for the second chance at life, and doesn't probably want to. He wouldn't. I don't think he'd be into you coming up asking about biker gangs and the specifics and how they're formed at Portrush if you're over there. I don't think he'd be into that. I do have a question about the nomenclature. I go to golfchannel.com and they just pulled up the soft. Their headline says former biker club member. Are they just against use? They're scared to use the term gang. Everybody has motorcycle gang. Everyone biker club member. What does that mean? Seems a little too benign.
Maybe it was a fancy biker gang. We could ask him what's the difference between a biker gang and a biker club. You gotta wear a coat, a blazer, like when you're in the dining room. I might walk down the street and ask my buddy that's in the biker gang.
You got to get in there. Kind of an incredible story. News. Those are your 4 results: New Zealand, South Africa, the LPGA, and Cognizant. That's what I got for that. News. We got some movements in TGL. Andy. Nick Dunlap up 1 day call up to the Atlanta Drive with the tour. I would suggest the tour I would note is in Florida. It is in Florida at the moment, this week and next. But Pat Cantlay, JT, Peace. It's going to be Billy Boy, Nick Dunlap, and Lucas Glover against the Jupe Links team. They're
tanking. They're trying to jam Rory.
Are they laying down? There's a big. I'm getting some conspiracy theories from folks affiliated with the Boston Ballfrogs that saying this is they're laying down to keep Rory's Ballfrogs out of the playoff. That the Drive could be laying down. I mean, I would suggest Nick Dunlap, pretty good player, but it's hard to just jump into the SoFi Dome untested and unacquitted.
Nothing prepares you for the juices. The adrenaline.
Yeah. They set the Ballfrogs set their lineup too, right? Hideki's gone. I know.
I did get a press release that came across my desk that New York Golf Club is protesting last week's result.
Good.
Is that really
good? Deserved.
That's not really
absolutely
because of
they are. I hope they are.
1 day contract.
How about Uncle Steve Cohn at spring training? What did he say?
Shout out to that intrepid journalist who is asking Steve questions at Met spring
TikTok
training.
Kid or something like that.
Incredible. Got Steve in a phone booth asking questions about New York blowing a 4-0 lead the other night. He wasn't
happy.
Steve not thrilled, very upset. So
these golf pros accountable to no one, really, right? It's everybody else's fault. They got a billionaire owner now who's, not afraid to tweet his thoughts about some of his Mets players in the past. Was not happy with them blowing it. He was like, we blew it. I don't know how that happened. They could have some people they answer to now in the TGL. golf.
No, the day we get a Steve NYGC tweet is the day like my soul will elevate to a higher dimension. I think I need that desperately.
So yeah, the NYGC is filing official protest,
Good.
just like the NBA
right.
teams do.
Is that real, Andy? Are you
No.
just joking around? All right.
Just fucking around.
All right. I don't know what's real anymore. They just changed the rules from week
Hey,
to week.
we're in a win-in situation. We control our own destiny.
Well, you
They
go,
play Boston, right?
I got-
Monday night.
I got some very interesting data that listen, my model's been data driven the whole time. Data,
your power rankings.
My power rankings, yeah. People
Yeah.
give it a lot of shit, but you know what? You know who the third best team scoring wise is in the league? Boston.
Scoring wise, what does that mean? Just to par? What are we talking about?
You know the
Match
team
play.
that you know the top tier team per the standings that I've been most skeptical of is LA. Been skeptical of them.
Okay.
They're the second to last They're the second to last in scoring on the season.
We need a TGL. We need a TGL Ken Palm to get into this bracket. March is a big time for brackets. Look at the advanced
quad
stats.
one. Yeah.
Is LIGC really a quad one win? I mean, who's to say?
You feel like a PR person right now, just trying to fudge whatever numbers in the most positive light you can about your winless TGL team. That's the only one that matters. They've
got
scoring.
Big matchup tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's a good one. So that's your movement on TGL. Nick Dunlap in. Other news: Tiger is playing the Seminole Pro-Member on Monday. I believe he was with Seth Waugh. I honestly just didn't even look at the sheet. It's great. There's a lot of pros. Like, this is the best field of the year. Best field. It's better than better than the Honda Classic. I know, we do it. It's a great field. It's a cool event. But Tiger is in it playing Seth. Now, Andy, I don't know where this is coming from, but there's real rumblings that he's going to commit to the Players.
I've heard this.
It's kind of out there, and the Players tournament director made like a statement like 2 weeks ago. It would be great to have him. Like kind of saying nothing, but still commenting on it. It seems like,
he heard we're going to be there.
TW Legion, unless there is a major injury issue, Tiger will certainly play the Players next week. Said he will be playing big events. This is, again, TW Legion, the fan account, I believe, who seems he's totally all in on him playing. But feels like maybe he's going to, I don't know. He's playing a full 18 at Seminole. That means he's then playing the Players. I don't know. He's not playing Bay Hill, but going to get a big event, some reps on the board, perhaps before Augusta. Who knows? Maybe that would be big news. All right. Let's get to a little special game we cooked up for this Monday episode. I've been watching the NFL Combine, Scouting Combine.
You've been watching it?
Oh, nonstop all weekend. Brown's the number 2 pick. I need to know the hand size of Shedeur Sanders and all these guys. I need to know all of it. I haven't watched any. I mean, I've seen a few highlights here and there, tidbits. And what I proposed to you fellas yesterday was, what would we do if the PGA Tour had a hypothetical scouting combine for hypothetical, I don't know, Luke Clanton types? They're in college, maybe they're in high school, maybe it's a Blades Brown or Miles Russell type. You had a scouting combine. What would the PGA Tour test? What would, we've got the 40-yard dash.
It could be a fun thing. It could be a fun
Could be a cool thing, right?
Yes.
I mean, get the TrackMans out, test the speed, do a little chipping, some putting. But yeah, it's in the NFL they have bench press. How many times can you put up this? They have they got rid of the Wonderlic, right? It's now something. There's multiple tests now. PJ, did you ever go to this with the Lions to do social coverage for the Lions?
Oh, the Combine? Oh yeah. 3-time Combine attendee, baby. Love the Combine.
Combine like.
The Combine is a very interesting week. It's everybody is just in like kind of a conference hall, and you are waiting for the players to come do their press conferences each individually. I don't know if you guys saw like the very the huge crowd around Travis Hunter and then the one guy interviewing a different cornerback, because all the players, like, they come out in different waves by position. So you have like the 10 guys that are going to be like the biggest names, and then everybody else just has like 2 people talking to them at the time. So it's a very, very weird thing to cover from like a team standpoint.
And you're there for a week.
Yeah. Yeah. Indianapolis for a week.
All right. So what do we want to do? Let's throw some events out, or not tests, like NFL 40-yard dash. They measure everything, the hands, the weight.
Well,
they do
I think we should have a 40-yard dash. Test explosiveness.
I was going to say we should lead the bench press in. That was one of my pitches. I think
Jake Knapp
people would
be a star.
People would watch the bench press.
Can you imagine like Pepe Peter getting on the bench and just like just trying to throw it up?
Numbers.
What would the bench be? Would the bench be set at 135?
I was going to say, I think you got to bring it way down. It's 225 for the NFL.
Yeah, come on. Wasn't there a lineman who did it like 3 times? Like, oh my God, that's not good. Like an offensive line prospect, I think, a couple of years ago. All right. So what are some things you'd put in a hypothetical PGA Tour Scouting Combine?
Obviously, ball speed, right?
That's got to be it. That's got to be one, right? I mean, this comes from last week. We're talking about Pot Geeter and how he's more of a John Ross, Darius Hayward Bay. A lot of speed, and then sort of it was an adventure after there. Just hard hooks and big cuts, and yeah, it was a mess. All right, so ball speed one.
I think I'd do like a wedge drill where you have like a target at 10 yards, 20 yards, 30 yards, 40 yards, 50 yards, 60 yards, 70 yards, 80 yards, 90 yards, 100, and you count the yards off the number.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay. I like that.
That's smart.
I like that.
I would have like some approach numbers, and I would have like basically like a big bozo bucket. And give players X number of shots and see how many they get in.
Yep. I like that one. That's a good carnival trick. I like that.
I think you want to see shot shapes. So I'd have some poles out there that they have to draw and fade around, like some fronting obstructions that they have to move it around.
That was, I mean, today with Highsmith, just the lefty draw. Like he just kind of guided that the whole way home. And it feels like a lot of those water hazards on the right for some, more comfortable for lefty to just draw it all the way around. All right, go ahead. What else?
I keep thinking of Haywood Highsmith.
Good one. Free relief drop skills. Like how good are they at dropping the ball from the knee? That's a real skill.
Can you get it to a point where you don't have to place it? How efficient are your drops? Can you get it within 3?
Well, you want to get placing.
Yeah, but for the tour, if you're on the tour standpoint, you want to make sure you have somebody that can just drop.
Yep.
I was thinking a mock press conference, and we could see how dull they could possibly be. That's like seems to be a through line with a lot of tour players being extraordinarily boring in a press conference.
Come on. Along those lines, I thought there would be a pro-am chit chat if you're the tour.
Perfect.
Pro-am chit chat test. Like you can't be a dick in those, and some of them are. And so how do you get it's a mock pro-am with some CEO or a sponsor, and you got to do 10 minutes of chit chat without being a dick. So that would be one.
40-yard dash could be, if you're accepting a trophy, how quick can you thank all of your sponsors in your first sentence? Can you get 10 in under 10 seconds? That's a very important number.
Yep. I do think they should have like a Wonderlic, an aptitude test, and then they announce all the scores. It's kind of not nice.
I think a rules of golf test could be fun. Like legitimately.
Who was the guy?
Andrew Landry.
Yeah.
Doesn't even carry a rules book. What was
he
mad about? Was that when
I think it was a cart path drop.
It was the USGA. It was when the USGA changed the rules or something.
Oh, okay. What else do you got? I got backboarding abilities. How well can you bounce it off the backboard? Get to where that? I mean, that was kind of the ball don't lie moment today. Jake made a birdie after just sending one.
Talk about this enough.
What?
What was he doing? Why did he try and hit a ball that was fully submerged?
Oh, you're talking about the next hole after the birdie off the backboard. That was it. Made a triple. Up, down, up and back, and then up and still inside the hazard.
And Bones was the only one who was like, yeah, if I'm his caddy, I'm having him go replay this from the fairway. Like, he was adamant about it. Nobody else wanted to
2 weeks in a row for Bones with Potgieter and this.
Bones would have been using one of his vetoes with Phil.
Yeah. Maybe. Those are rare. What else? Matting down your lie test. How good can you do that without really making it obvious? That seems to be how good can you practice matting down your lie while just, attempting to address it? What else do you have, PJ?
I was going to say, what is the longest distance that you can aim point from? So you start at like a foot and you got to make the aim point from a foot, and then you move back to maybe like 3 feet, and you keep going back and back and back, and you have to dial in the aim point, prove that you can do it from a far distance away.
I like that one. Like that. What else? Pace of play test. There has to be some sort of pace of play test, right? Whether it's
you can play slow enough to not burn coverage window.
The coverage window. You have to be able to play, 3 holes in 35 minutes or something like that. It would be the test at the combine. PJ, you got others? It looks like you're ready to go.
I was trying to think of a way to incorporate the Kuchar. How comfortable are you under fire, asking to play by yourself in a situation like that? What's your comfort? But this is kind of like the stadium pulse. This is what you're getting into in the formal interviews when you're in the suites with the prospects. You got to really
be good too.
You got to grill somebody. Are you willing to go out there on a Monday by yourself to come in a tie for 12th to make an extra $20,000?
And are you willing to do it to set an example for a young player?
That's
like
29 years
like
old.
29-year-old Max Grazerman.
Max Grazerman. Yeah, or like Bo Hostler. Remember when he was asking for a third opinion?
If I could hypothetically take down that tree, how outside of the box of a thinker are you? It's kind of the thing you want as your quarterback. What do you see at the line? Can you eliminate that tree in your mind? And is that good enough?
And then how adamant will you be with authority and the rules officials? Combative almost to the point. What else? Anything else you guys got aside from the game ones? It feels like.
Yeah, I think there should be. I think there should be a Oklahoma drill against Sepp. Everyone has to do an Oklahoma drill.
And Sepp is the guy. He's just taking one after another. He comes in. That's good. I love that. I mean, this would really kind of expose some of these guys as being, speed demons and nothing more, right? I mean, not the Oklahoma drill with Sepp, but in a real way, you really tested their like different lies, different turf, different. It could be kind of interesting.
Yeah, you could do like a fun short game one. Like it would be fun to see like. Left to like 6 foot left to righters versus right to lefters with guys and see like, or do they just make like 20% more right to lefters than left to righters because like that's the way putting works sometimes, right? Yeah. These would be great numbers to have too.
Can you get a controlled environment to a spot where like maybe you have some Bermuda, maybe you have some Poet, you figure out who's most efficient on what ground before you get in here.
Bring in pallets, like
just
pallets and different kind of turf, right?
Do you just have the TGL green there too? So maybe you're scouting prospects for the TGL draft. You got to know who the next legacy is here.
You could also have all the clothing sponsors lined up so that they could wear all of it to see who looks the best and what fits.
What you fit. Yeah. Well, how do you fit? Live chat suggestions on the YouTube show. Alan Duke, the Tom Kim locker room test. I guess that means like how can you destroy a locker without totaling the entire locker room? How good is someone at getting free food test from a short round? That's the Fratelli axiom. How well can you take a cut out of the free food? Kuchar could be tipping local caddies test. It's kind of a math problem. Can they do it in their head and not stiff stiff the local caddy if that should it come to that. So yeah, all right, that does it. Hypothetical would be actually kind of cool, aside from the backboarding and some of the free relief drop skills tests, but it would be kind of fun.
Yeah, what an idiot. Just stupid.
Is that for the guy who has to go up against Sepp? Who's
Georgia?
that?
Anybody going up against a Georgia lineman like Sepp?
Yeah.
You think Kirby would be the guy? Can we get Kirby to be the guy running the drill? You know how Vrabel goes out there and he's the guy that's getting hit by all the linemen because he just loves contact. Get Kirby to run the Sepp Oklahoma drill.
All right, that does it for our Monday edition of the Shotgun Start. We'll be back with you on Wednesday or Tuesday night. Are we going live after TGL again?
It's the last one, right?
No, I mean they got playoffs after players like 2 weeks from today or 2 weeks from this week. So, all right, we'll talk to you regardless. We'll talk to you either Tuesday night or Wednesday. See ya.